is home to the pioneers and trailblazers of the game. History reminds us that there are special players who altered the arc and the evolution of the sport with their unique skills and with the vision to see beyond the status quo, taking things to another level. It's also true that how we watch the game is constantly evolving. The Curt Gowdy Transformative Media Award is being presented for the first time this evening. The award was established to recognize an individual or organization that has dramatically changed the format, presentation, or enjoyment of the coverage of basketball using traditional or emerging media. And when it comes to enjoyment of coverage, there's nothing more fun to watch than the winners of the inaugural Curt Gowdy Transformative Media Award representing inside the NBA are Ernie Johnson, Charles Barkley, and Shaquille O'Neal. I'm sorry I'm laughing, but you guys are just so silly.
Thank you all.
Welcome and congratulations.
Thanks, Lisa.
Ernie, I'm going to start with you. Just when did you know that you'd caught lightning in a bottle with this crew?
First time I did the show by myself. It was, no, look, when the thing about our group, I think, it's gone through so many changes, and you know, I've been there for 31 years. And when I was doing the show by myself, it wasn't very good. Kenny came along and we hit it off. You bring on the guy who's changed the landscape of shows like we do in Charles Barkley, and then you bring along the world's biggest 14-year-old, and we have the greatest time of our lives, and so you can't predict chemistry, you can't predict what's going to work, but we love each other, and I grew up with 3 older sisters. This is as close I'll ever come to having brothers is in Shaq and Charles and Kenny. And we should point out Kenny missed the show last night. He's taking care of some personal matters. But if he were here, he would say that, you know, he carries the show just like he carried Hakeem. So that's why the show works.
Like Dan Patrick said, you guys, you make it look so easy and so fun. What's the secret?
Well, number one, we hope we get good games. That's always the most important thing. But we have a tremendous crew that they'll let us do anything. Because I don't think people understand. We're on from 8 to 2 in the morning, and nobody wants to talk about basketball from 8 to 2 in the morning. I mean, I think seriously, if we would just do X and O's all night from 8 to 2, the people would just turn the set off immediately. But number one, we hope we get 2 good games. But when we get 1 bad game or 2 bad games, we go into overdrive. What can we do to make people watch and enjoy basketball? That's the key. And we got a great group of people behind the scenes.
You guys are known for your spontaneity. Anything could break out at any moment. What's the craziest thing, Shaquille, you have seen? Not necessarily you yourself have done, but what's the craziest thing you've seen or heard on your set?
Well, the craziest thing I've seen is when I was helping him with his leg cramp last night. When it came back on TV, it looked like I was rubbing his ass. That's what it looked like, but that wasn't what I was doing. But, you know, they...
See? This is why it works, right?
Hey, Lisa, I got to tell you something funny about Shaq. When Shaq first got the job, the first night, he's like, Ernie, won't you break a chair over my head? He said, okay, that'll be funny. The next night he says, wait, Kenny, won't you push the Christmas tree over on me? And we says, yo, man, we're about 6 weeks of him setting himself on fire. We're like, yo, man, you can't try to outdo yourself every night. I said, we're on for 6 months.
But when Chuck said that about next thing we know you're going to set yourself on fire, he said, go ahead, I've been to stunt school.
I'll do it.
But that brings up a good point, Shaquille. You joined the group in 2011. What were your concerns about fitting into a group that was already rolling at that time?
Well, believe it or not, I wanted to be the next Bryant Gumbel. And after a year of being terrible, that I realized I wasn't going to be Brian Gumbel. So one of the producers, TK, he brought me in the back and he said, "We didn't bring you here for that. We need you to be Shaq." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "We need you to be Shaq." I was like, "Oh, you need me to be that guy." So after I just, calmed down and just, decided to fit in with the guys, first of all, I was nervous because I know where my bread is buttered. I know that we're up here tonight because of this man right here, Mr. Ernie Johnson. Yeah, really. So sitting next to him every night, I'm really nervous. I can remember in 1989, right before David Robinson didn't sign my autograph, Ernie Robinson came to interview me in San Antonio. So, from that day on, that's the first day I felt famous. I'm like, yo, I got Ernie Johnson in my little house in San Antonio interviewing me. And now to be sitting next to him, working with him every Thursday night, it's an honor. So, Ernie, I want to say thank you for accepting me. Kenny, I want to say thank you for accepting me. And Chuck, I hate you. I tried to help you out last night, and it looked like I'm giving you a prostate check last night.
Hey, I needed a cigarette after you rubbed on me like that last night.
All I was missing was my blue glove last night. Dr. O'Neill.
But it is true, Ernie, that you are clearly the engine that makes the thing go. Charles, what does Ernie Johnson mean to not just the show, but to you?
Well, he's the older brother I never had. He's the nicest person I've ever met in my life. He's adopted kids, a lot of kids. I mean, the difference between these two, number one, I love, Ernie has adopted all these kids. He got this amazing son, Michael, who's been in a wheelchair and ventilator his whole life, and for him to do that, that's amazing. The difference between Ernie, he adopted kids, Shaq keep having kids. And they both got the same number basketball team going on over here. But, I love Ernie like a brother. He's the older brother that I never had. And he's the hardest working guy. When we go on at 8, we show up at 7. Ernie's been there since like noon. He's got all these notes. And every segment is scripted. And we just like go on TV and have fun for a few hours. But I would tell you something, Lisa. Ernie did something this summer. And it was the coolest thing for me. He called me in the middle of the night one night, and he says, "Charles, as a 60-some-year-old white guy, what can I do to help with the social justice issues?" And I said, and Ernie never calls me. We always text, but he never calls me. But it was like 1 o'clock at night. And I was like, "Hey, what's up, BJ?" He says, I got something I really need to talk to you about. And he says, as a 70, I think you're close to 70. He says,
I'll be 65 in August.
Yeah. And at least it was so profound and from his heart. He says, I'm a 60-some-year-old white guy, and I don't understand all this stuff. And he said, help me understand. And when I got off the phone, I was so emotional for him to want to care that much. And it just meant a great deal to me. And to me, in essence, that's Ernie Johnson.
I wanted to ask you guys about that because sometimes your show is about much more than basketball. Our entire country has dealt with so much in the last year and a half, and through it all, you guys have talked it all out. What has it been like for you as a crew, as brothers, to have those difficult conversations and to use your platform that you have?
Well, I think it's been, in a way, it just helps you process. It really does when you're seeing things that are going on in society, or again, when that happened on that hillside on that Sunday, and none of us knew what to make of that and how to deal with it. For us to be able to go, and again, thanks to the folks who call the shots at TNT. And, it's Tim Kiley, that's Lenny Daniels, that's Craig Berry, that's Tara August, Jeremy Levin, Steve Fiorello. To go to Staples Center and there's not a game, but we're going to sit at midcourt and we're going to talk about Kobe. I know for Shaq, it was the first time he'd spoken about it. It's a couple days after it happens. And to have Jerry West so emotional, that to me, in the 31 years of sitting in that chair, Lisa, it's the most memorable night of my career because it was just real. It was just us. It was a chance, again, when you talk about how do you process this, talk to me, brother.
And I didn't want to do the show because my heart was broken. I remember the day Kobe died, I went to the movies. I always go to the movies early because there's nobody there. And when I get back in my car, I had like 100 text messages, and I said, oh, it's been a big trade in the NBA. And then I saw what happened, and I just sit in my car for like an hour and cry because I didn't know Kobe really, really well, but I live in his neighborhood. I go by his high school every single day when I'm in Philadelphia. And it's funny, for my whole life since I've been there, every time I drive by that school, I say, oh, Kobe went to high school there. And so I knew him. He was always cordial to me. But when I got out of that movie, my heart, I could not believe it. And this is like, they said, we're going to go to LA and do the show. I says, this is a bad idea. This is a really bad idea. And I said, if y'all want to do it, I'll do it. But after the show, Shaq and we had Jerry West on, I said, I'm glad we did the show, because that was the first time I was like, I said, I'm going to stop crying, and I got to keep going, because the season was going to go on at some point. But that night we had that sit down, all of us on stage for like 2 hours. That was one of the most amazing things, because Shaq was crying, Jerry West was crying. I think we had Rick Fox on, right? And it was surreal.
And when we do talk about issues, you have three intelligent people and Charles that gives their point of view. And the things that the things that we love about each other is that we can have a different opinion and respect each other. Like me and Charles go at it all the time. I don't have an older brother. I'm the oldest. But if I did have an older brother, I would want him to be Charles Barkley. But we respect each other. Same thing with me and Kobe. We argued all the time, but we respected each other. That's why we were able to win 3 out of 4 championships. It's all about respect. So,
you and Kobe argued all the time?
All the time.
It just sounds like you the common denominator. Nobody likes you. I mean, you the only thing all of us have in common. Nobody likes you.
Good point. David Robinson ain't like me either. That's why he ain't signed my autograph when I was 15. I'm just joking. He signed my autograph. Love you, David. I love David Robinson. That's my guy.
The connection between you guys, it's real. It seems so honest. Thank you for sharing it with us. You've set the bar so high. You're in the Hall of Fame now. Well, you've already been in the Hall of Fame, but you're in the Hall of Fame now for this wonderful media award. How do you get better? You don't stay the same, right? How do you get better?
Well, first of all, I've always thought it was stupid we were getting paid to watch basketball. Now they're giving us awards. I was like, wait, y'all got to pay me to watch basketball? And now they're giving us awards.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
This is the greatest scam going in the world, Lisa.
It's the greatest job in the world.
This is...
Well, listen, I'm the youngest guy on the set, and again, I know where my bread is buttered. You know, if I was a role player, Ernie Johnson would be my Shaq, he would be my Kobe, he'd be my David, he'd be my Magic, he'd be my Isaiah. I know why I'm here. I'm not here because of my mumbly voice. I'm here because of the great Ernie Johnson. Ernie, I want to say thank you for accepting me. TK, Tara, all the guys, and I love you, and I appreciate it, and I wouldn't miss this moment in the world because I'm the only guy that can say, when David Robinson didn't sign my autograph and you came to interview me, now I'm sitting next to you. I'm the only kid that can say that. So, Ernie, I love you and I appreciate you very much. And Chuck, I still hate you.
I appreciate you too. And
nothing has changed.
To answer your question, I think what's been really cool about the exchange of ideas in our place is that we take ideas from everybody. And this award is not about the four of us with Kenny. This is about everybody who's ever cut a highlight, anybody who's ever created a graphic or adjusted a light to make the shot look better. It's about everybody who's taken a part in this. And so everybody takes great pride in it. And I would be remiss if I did not also at this point thank my wife Cheryl Ann, because we will have been married for 39
Hey, Ernie.
in August.
How long you been married?
Hold on, I'm going to get to that story. In 39 years in August. And I've got 6 kids and 4 grandkids, and so my life is full. This is just a wonderful addition to that. But here's what Charles was getting at, and this is advice for all of you men out there. Next time you're in a social setting and someone asks you, so how long have you guys been married? And you're Cheryl Ann at this point. So go ahead and ask me, Charles.
Ernie, how long have you been married?
Use your mic.
Ernie, how long have you been married?
Not long enough.
The cheesiest line ever.
That's nice, Ernie.
I'm going to tell you something right
Ernie,
now.
that's nice,
Guys.
Ernie.
Oh, I look at
Oh, she doesn't get it, Ernie.
I don't get it.
I look at my wife and I say,
went over
not
your
long
head?
enough.
Oh, okay, I get it now. That's so
Thank God Cheryl Ann got it. I'll tell you that.
Ernie, from one player to another, that was nice.
I
like
guarantee
that.
you guys, if you want to play 18 holes of golf this weekend, use that line.
All right, I'm taking this show back. Thank you very much, you guys, for sharing this evening,
Lisa,
this celebration of Inside the NBA with us. Appreciate it. And before you go, there are a few more folks who'd like to congratulate you.
Hey, guys.